Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I was due in Nashville, Tennessee, and today I'm joined by my lovely wife Marion and my beautiful little baby, Corinne.
Hi y'all.
And Corinne is going to be very quiet, hopefully, but you will probably hear her throughout the video. This is the second episode of our SimPals series. Of course, SimPals is the awesome LP of Minecraft people playing a new game because we love sandboxes. And now that we're playing in this sandbox, we figured let's go ahead and execute our cake-based design from earlier. Now, Marion, I kind of wanted to talk to you about one thing I wanted to change.
Yeah.
You might remember that we had this road kind of go up here and then kind of curve up this way.
That way.
Yeah. Now, one thing I've noticed when I've been playing other maps, and wow, there's a million messages queued up that it's just going to give us. One thing I noticed when I was playing other maps is that if you have a left turn too quickly after the highway entrance here, the highway just gets backed up for miles.
Huh.
So we might not even want
that.
We might not want to branch this right away. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, what I'm thinking we'll do is go ahead and stretch it out here and do the right branch, and then we can add the left branch later.
Maybe you should curve it a little bit to the right, and then we'll just go the extra distance later on.
Yeah, if I hold... It's supposed to do a right angle if I hold shift. I don't know why it's lame. Okay. Well, that's fine. So I'm going to make it a little longer here. And now it's trying to curve because I have the curve thing selected, which is exactly the way that I intended to do this. So, okay, we put this here, and then we pull out our curving tool up to here, up to here or so. Now, hopefully, sometimes the game does not like when you try and turn a curve into a straight road, but in this particular case, it appears that we are triumphant. So, if we just rotate around here, yeah, that's a decent starting point. Now, in order to actually start the game, you have to do a few things. You have to draw a few zones, you have to get power, and you have to connect a road. Now, for power, let's see how much extra power is available in the region. It looks like there's 6.3 megawatts, or presumably, yeah. So I can buy some of that from Dockfort, which is Doc M's city, and we can buy some of that from Biftopia, which is, of course, Isuma's city, because Biffa would never name his city something so silly. So we can just go ahead and click buy, and that'll get us started with a barely negligible amount of power. So we'll bypass the inconvenience of not having power when we launch. Now we can do the same thing for sewage here, and buy that as well from Biftopia and Dockfort, and same for water. So our basic city services up to a very small population, essentially the first few hundred people that we have, we can cover without having to invest in infrastructure. Now, one of the reasons to do that is, for example, this water tower here.
Yeah.
It pumps 6 kilogallons per hour and costs 100 simoleons, which is like their money to run every hour. Now, the water pumping station is more than 10 times as efficient, but only 4 times as expensive per hour.
So we should save up for that one.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the good fire station, the good ambulances. Pretty much all the good stuff in the game is just drastically more efficient because of the economies of scale. Now, if we review real quickly where our ores and oils are, we don't have any oils. We have coals. We have coal up here, and we have ore over here. And what we'll probably want to do is set this up in such a way that we can establish a good smelting situation where we can turn the coal and the ore over here into alloy. Now what I'm thinking is let's go ahead and actually just start zoning some... Well, I guess we need to lay down the roads before we start putting people in.
Yeah.
Of course, the biggest thing is we don't want to waste any natural resources by having the roads be exactly on top of them. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down parallel to, but not directly on top of there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now, when we lay down our coal mine, the densest part will be under the actual drilling implement.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course that's a little bit obscured there by this. So we've got a reasonable start to our city. Now we know that the wind is going to blow toward the sea or toward the river here. So we want to have our residential and whatnot primarily set up over here.
Yeah.
Now, as I lay the road marker on here, it'll show me where a parallel line is, which would be right here. Which, oh, that's kind of inconvenient, because, well, we don't even necessarily... Like, let's go ahead and come out to... It's going to be a pain to curve back down into here. But we don't want to, like I said, to have this start out directly adjacent to everything else, because, like, if this... Because this whole area down here will be a ludicrous mess otherwise. So let's go ahead and just put in... Whoops. Straight roads here. Here we go. This is the least convoluted possible way to do this, which says something right there. And we'll run this parallel up to here and back to here. So we will now zone a bunch of residential in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And some commercial. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see this, like, this back blue line? That indicates how at highest density, how big that would expand into. Okay, so then over here we'll do another 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4 zones is like the maximum expansion of a building, and another 2, 3 over here. So now we've got a nice little starter bedroom community area here. Really, though, we're probably going to want to develop this whole area that I'm looking at right here as heavily as we can. Now, okay, so it looks like if we're basing it off the back wall of the map here, we're going to want to have a... That feels like it's too close, just from my experience in the other cities. I'm going to move that a little bit further off and run this parallel here. And we are going to run this... We don't want to make 4-way intersections if we can avoid it.
Yeah.
Because the AI is just not very good, honestly. Okay, so if we go from here to here... Really? Is that the optimal angle? Okay, so some of this is going to be kind of insane. It's becoming clear to me. So we've already got this weird pie-shaped thing here. We started off with a cookie cake, and now we've got a pie. Okay, I should have asked for suggestions from you, like, oh, what shape should we make? But,
Too late now.
yeah. This is the fun part of the show, because we get to count to 4 in different languages. You speak Latin, don't you?
Yeah.
How do you count to 4 in Latin?
Unas,
Well, hold on, wait till I get started. Okay.
Unas, dos, oh shoot.
Is it trace?
Yeah.
Really? Are you sure that's not just Spanish? Are you
And
sure you don't speak
cuatros.
Latin American? Quattro? Really?
No,
I think you speak Latin American, not Latin. That's pretty clearly Spanish.
No, because Latin is Roman, they're all romantic languages, so they're all heavily...
Yeah, I think you're trying to out-talk me, and that's not going to happen. Clearly, you're just ripping off the Spanish. But
Yes, because the Spanish came before the Romans.
that Iberian Peninsula is one of the oldest peninsulas in human existence. Oh, good. Somehow there is a problem with this road. I think there was a snake attack or something? I do not know. Okay. So, anyway, we need to build a city hall somewhere. And we need to make sure that we do it somewhere that we have room to expand. Now, the city hall will actually be a desirable area to live in later. So, maybe what we will do... Like, I was thinking that this back area here would be our high desire... Well, that aura pushes back pretty far.
Yeah, I think that left corner would be the...
This is going to be...
corner.
Yeah, this is going to be the high desirability area.
Yeah.
Well, we could always set it up so we have some high desirability residential over here.
That's right by the coal.
Well, the coal is going to blow this way, toward the river. Back here. Hey, Corinne, you having fun? Or, like, the ground pollution is going to be an issue, but...
Yeah.
Well...
Noise is low.
Well, I don't think that it keeps track of noise.
Okay.
So... but yeah, so anyway, we could put City Hall here and develop further residential zones behind it as kind of a higher medium wealth residential. With as much mining as we're going to do, Oh, wow. We get to name the city now.
Yay.
Okay. I suggest we name it Marion Hills Can't Speak Latin. Oh, it doesn't fit. We'll name it... What do you want to name it, Corinne? Now she's quiet. Corinne's quiet now.
What?
Yeah, that's not going to be true for long. We'll name it Enduring Truth. That sounds like that sounds like a military operation in the Middle East. Operation Enduring Truth is into its 18th year and is one of the most celebrated military operations of its era. So yeah, we can put more stuff back here. Now, at this point in the game, it's important to note that I've used a lot of our money.
Yeah.
And you'll see this little red number here, that -2 per hour. That is how quickly our tax dollars are replenishing our funds.
Oh, good.
Or not doing that. Oh, this is going to be a little bumpy thing. Okay, so in cases where you can't get the full 4, just because of the lay of the land, that's usually where I would say, okay, let's put a park here. Now, because we want this to be our higher tier wealth area, there's 3 tiers of wealth, represented by the 1 simoleon, 2 simoleon, and 3 simoleon. So let's go ahead and put a playground or get something from the 2 simoleon tier here. Probably don't want a soccer field or a baseball field. Those are pretty expensive hourly. Like that -$600 an hour. We're currently making $70 an hour in taxes. So you probably want one of these cheaper parks. And that'll increase the property value of everything around it. Now, property value you can kind of see on this land value map here. City Hall increased this kind of radius, and the park increased this radius. And as these things overlap, they'll kind of
work together. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, if we put in an elementary school, actually, let's go to education real quick. And like if we were to put in an elementary school, we'd want to put it somewhere within this area as well to increase the protection and the value. Okay, so now since we don't have a ton of money, but we don't want to stop playing actively while we wait for this $146 an hour of taxes to pay off. Actually, other things that we can do though is we can put little parks, because this is going to be our low wealth area over here. Put these little parks or whatever in here in this little nook right here. And what that'll do is that'll make these people happier, and then they'll be more likely to expand into higher density, which then, if this little house right here becomes an apartment building, then we get more money from that space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so you see how he's got this little double arrow here moving forward. That means that it's moving toward becoming denser. But it'll take time. So let's see, we got little shops here that are hiring. 252 population. We can look at all sorts of details about them, but honestly at this point it doesn't really help because we just had to kind of let the town grow. But while it does that, what we can do is a few things. We can start zoning our industrial back here. We can start on our coal mine, or at least, in order to do the coal mine, you actually have to have a few industrial regions set up first. Road grade too steep, lame. Okay, so how are we going to get down there? We're probably going to have to set up a parallel road, or come to, there's a place right here, that's perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come to this intersection. Roads overlap, what? Oh, it's because of this stupid hill. Dang it, okay. Can we do that? No, not enough money. Well, you can take out loans, and if we were starting from scratch, we'd only be able to take out a $25,000 loan.
Yeah.
But because other people in the region have built up a Department of Finance and they have bond ratings, we can kind of mooch off their good bond rating and take out $300,000 worth of loans. So we're going to do that now, meaning our largest single expense is now our bond interest.
Yes.
So we're going to be in the negative for a little while, but we're going to use this to actually establish a much better rating in the long term. Man, it's a real pain that this does not want to... I guess we could come out this way. Let's open up our ore map. Whoa. And of course I've already placed one road that I didn't mean to. Okay, so here's our ore map. It really looks like we're going to want to have a road that comes down kind of comes up from here, so that way it's near the ore, but it's not overlapping it directly. Can't create smooth enough terrain for road. Same thing over here. Can't create smooth enough terrain for road. We might have to just zag this, unfortunately. So we're going to come up to here, and that's where that stupid hill is. Dang it, stupid hill. It is the enduring truth that I do not want to put up with this road being obnoxious like this all the time. Really? See, these are the sorts of reasons, these are the sorts of problems people are having with this game that make them really not like it. Because, like, this road should not have happened.
No.
No, this is not, this is not what City Hall should look like here. It shouldn't have a driveway that literally becomes a wall.
Subduction zone. It looks like an earthquake happened.
Yeah, you can see the strata there. So, anyway, while we're looking at the dinosaur bones in that road wall, let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to connect this. Like, I might just have to do some sort of, like, awkward curve thing.
Yeah, I think you might have to.
So let's come out to here, and then load up the curve tool.
Wait, seriously?
What do you mean cannot create smooth enough terrain? What's the matter with this terrain? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is super obnoxious already.
Why don't you just try like a straight?
Well, I'm trying different stuff, but yeah, I'll try a straight one.
Maybe just try a
roads
smaller
overlap, angle too sharp. Now that it's got them in some sort of weird thing where it's not recognizing them, like the levels are just off.
Oh.
So here's what we can do. We'll just make a tunnel straight through here.
Okay.
Boom. Next problem. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. Okay, so what we want to do is set up our industrial mixed in with our mining stuff over this way. And so if we go to our ore map, so through here would be a fine place to zone industrial. And actually, we can kind of zone all of this industrial for right now and come back and worry about, like, it's easy to bulldoze the stuff later. You just don't necessarily want your roads going directly over it, because if you bulldoze your roads, you bulldoze everything on them.
Yeah.
So, like, we want the road to go, like, see how it kind of straddles the densest parts?
Yes.
Boom. $13,000, not at all wasted. So now we can just zone a bunch of this as industrial or residential or what have you. So I'm just going to come through here. We're going to want to delete these extra roads that were a waste of money. So each Nissan Shi, un, deux, trois, trois. I'm not even counting to 4 anymore. I'm just making fun of your Latin. Sorry.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks.
now in fairness, the baby cannot count in fake Latin as well as you can. So, I mean, you have that going for
It
you.
has been like several years since I've learned my Latin numbers. That
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a few years since I failed a lot of Japanese, but I still remember the first 4 numbers. I don't know.
that wasn't really a prime concern of.
Failing Japanese was not a prime concern in Latin? Well, I'm not surprised. Okay,
No, learning the first 4 numbers.
really? It seems like you'd really want to get those down before you moved on to V. Not the one for Vendetta, but for 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Quintus.
Yeah, you're a great audience.
No, actually, there's like several kinds. It depends on like how you're using the number. There's like multiple kinds of like how you. There's like ordinal numbers. There's.
Well, okay. I'm not here to ordinal anybody around. I'm just this guy trying to make a show. Look at this. Look. Well, at least I think that was actually part of the hill already. That one's kind of okay. The other ones are insane. So I've been putting in a lot of residential. Now you see that the this little graph here has kind of a light little lime green sliver.
Yeah.
But then above it's like a dark green area.
Yeah.
Dark green is the regional demand. The whole region that we're playing in needs people that have low-income housing. Because I don't know if you noticed, but everybody else built super fancy areas.
Yeah.
They don't really need a lot of high-end housing. They do need high-end shopping, and then they need a ton of industry. So,
yeah, low-end housing and high-end commercial don't usually mix.
yeah, well, the thing is, other people have built high-end housing areas without high-end
Commercial districts.
commercial districts, exactly. So we're just going to add that there and there. So now that we have spent a ton of money, we will go over here to this shield. That's our city specialization, and we'll go to mining. And you'll see that we need work and power, work and water, ore under your city, and 7 industrial buildings to build either the coal mine or the ore mine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then let's see, over here though, this trade depot we can start on immediately. So honestly, this trade depot, getting this in here, that's going to be something that we want to probably lock down right away. Or, well, yeah, because the trade depot, what that'll do is that will let us ship stuff out of town.
Mm.
And you have to ship enough stuff out of town that you get like unlocked things to like create smelters and stuff like that. Like we have to get a metals headquarters, and to get a metals headquarters, you have to mine 96 tons of coal or raw ore in a day. So maybe we should just pick one up front. Let's go ahead and start with ore actually, rather than coal. Once we get our 7th industry. Oh, we have our 7th industry. Why won't it let me build this? What the heck? We've got everything unlocked. Why is that not approved? You see all those check marks?
Yeah.
They look pretty good to me.
Does it... Wait, there's
maybe we don't have a city hall or something? Or we need a... Oh, petition to build coal mine approved. There we go. So, and then there's our ore mine. So, I'm thinking that we set this one up... Probably want to... Let's just exploit this vein first.
Yeah.
And then we can move outward or... Well, here's the thing, though, is I can actually move where the little rigs are.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, honestly, like, any of these would take, like, several in-game years to tap out. Like, there's so much ore here. I'm just going to go ahead and set that there, I think. Now, the ore mine can't open until they have water, power, workers. So now's a good time to see how much of the water, power, and workers we're using so far. We still can get 10 extra kilogallons before we're in trouble on the water, 24 kilogallons before we're in trouble on the sewage, and on power, there's barely any left. Oh, there was the argument for building the coal mine first.
Oops.
Building a power plant that runs on it. So, why don't we look into doing that. Now, remember how I said we could take out 3 bonds?
Yeah.
Second bond. Boom. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our power plant going on down here and our coal mine going on up here, I guess. Oh, you want to put Corinne away?
Mm-hmm.
No, but she's so cute. I like looking at her. Okay, go put her away. I'll pause the game.
Yay.
Okay, the wee baby Corinne is snug in her bed with visions of sugar plums dancing in her head. We are going to unpause the game. Wine glass is recently refilled. We are going to take a look at where the coal deposits can be drilled. Okay, so we don't want to put a power plant on top of the coal deposits themselves. We want to put a coal mine. So we'll just set that right there. And we can add additional derricks out the back that will plunge right into the heart of the vein there.
Ah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, we can set... Okay, so that's all running now. Now we need to make 2 more things. We need to make a trade depot, and... Do we have train tracks anywhere on here? Okay, they come in from the far side. They're way out here. So that's good. Okay. We're going to want to put our trade depot somewhere with reasonable access to the main road. So, I'm kind of thinking, honestly, just having it
right there
here might not be terrible. It would be really better if it connected back to this thing somehow. Let me see if I can fix this road problem. Going road. Like if I just build a road here and then connect it here, that works. Okay, so that's like the cheapest stupid road. You don't really want to use those for, production, but like just for testing stuff. Okay, so now that we know that that works, we can go ahead and lay in this to here, and then that to there. Let's try and give that a curve, because those like little awkward square intersections end up, the cars stop like they're stop signs, even though there's no cross street.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now we can set up our trade depot, which will accumulate the coal and ore and allow us to ship it elsewhere. So, see, we need a coal storage lot for the output of our mine. And so we've got one of those here. And we'll get a raw ore storage lot as well. Great. So those are going to start shipping into there. Now, actually, if we click on, manage global market deliveries, we're going to want to keep coal set to use locally so we can use it in our power plant.
Yeah.
We'll set the raw ore to export for now, just because it'll be a good source of extra cash early on.
Yeah.
It'll offset our bond expenses. Oh, you know what might be smart, actually? Build in a tunnel straight through here. Of course, this will be insanely expensive, but we do have 3 bonds. Okay, shh. It's a secret to everyone. Don't tell them. Angle too sharp. No. Oh, it's probably because we did that curve over there. Dang it. That's incredibly frustrating. Oh, there we go. Boom.
Very narrow window.
Okay, so... Oh, part of the problem is I'm using the angled road tool, so it's trying to curve it, but that's fine. So we can actually run this to here. Well, let's run it past there to here. Whoops. Okay, great. Now we can run a cross street up here. Whoops. Cross street? Nope. Dang it, cross street, you are the least useful kind of street. Well, let's try turning on the curve tool, 'cause sometimes the curve tool can work wonders for stuff like this. Whoa.
Peace sign, yo.
Yep. Okay. So, there we go. We now have an incredibly awkward way to access this lower area.
We look like we were smoking something.
No, we just look like we don't know what we're doing, which, in fairness...
It's absolutely true.
We're just kind of making this up as we go. Now, if you look at this, it kind of makes a cool S5 thing here, you know, and then over here it's like the SD card logo. Not really, no. I'm trying to justify this, but there's no justifying this. This is unilaterally terrible. But you know what's not terrible is a coal-powered plant. Actually, let's extend the road a little bit just to make sure that we're kind of doing this properly. I'm going to go ahead and switch that to straight. Yeah, there we go. Get that on the... There we go. So we can just now add our power plant. Now, even though the power plant would fit on this side, you see that red square there?
Yeah.
That indicates that we couldn't add more smokestacks over there.
Right.
Which is bad, because you want to be able to, do that.
Yeah.
Now we could nestle it in here, all snug in its bed.
I say using it over there, because that's kind of unusable land.
Yeah, it'd be kind of awkward to use. I mean, we could set it up for use, but... then also, though, like, having it over here would not necessarily be crazy.
No, actually, yeah.
Because we want it to be as far south as possible,
right.
or as far windward as possible.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
That's good, yeah.
And we don't want to have it down there, so...
Yeah.
Actually, here might literally be the best spot.
Yeah, that's
and then
the most...
We can run another road under the underpass here.
Yeah.
Like, back this way. Like so. And then we can zone this industrial. Woo! Because that's what we do with all the roads. Boom. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. And we can put some terrible poor people.
Extremely low income.
Extremely. The thing is, though, if you don't have any low income stuff like that, people really the in-game characters freak out because they're like, I can't work in this plant and live here.
Yeah.
You know? So you need to provide mixed or varying levels of income. So now what I'm thinking we'll do ultimately is we'll set up our trade port thing somewhere along the train track so we can use the freight train to ship stuff out. So if we just switch to the wonderful zoom out mode. Oh, we are in planning mode. This is just not zooming out as far as I would like. But okay, so if we just kind of pan over here, we've got our entrance, which at least right now is not super congested. We're not dealing with any real traffic problems. We've got some residential and... Okay, so high residential demand according to this dude. He thinks it's important. That's fine. Let's see if you can even build residential off of this crazy mound here.
You can.
You can, apparently. Or you can at least zone it. Zoning and building are not the same. You would think that they would have a lot more in common than they do, but they really don't. So I think here might be a good place for
Another road.
Cross street, which of course now I can't see my marks of the zoning here. Okay, so this tree here. Okay, remember that tree.
Right.
I'd even ask you to put your hand on it, but like, no, our city is broke. So now we have to either turn off buildings, increase taxes, or pass a bond measure. Third bond measure. Okay, so at this point we're in big trouble if we can't stay afloat.
Yay!
Yay! It's real important that we, you know, do city planning at this point. So we're just gonna set up some more of these. And get some little so this will kind of help us once we get enough workers that everything can start running, we'll be in a lot better shape. So our trade depot, for example, can't open until we get more residential. Same thing for our coal mine, and our ore mine is at least running, but it can't ship anywhere yet.
Yeah.
So we've got that little people flashing symbol all over the place, that little thing here. And we need our population to hit 5,000 anyway so that we can actually build the good city hall. So let's just add some more little houses. And a lot of these houses later on will not be able to expand, so we'll just replace them with parks. That'll make the other houses better, if that makes sense.
Ah, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So it's always surprising some of the little areas that you can put things.
Fun, yeah.
Okay, so hopefully this is far enough in. I wish that this hadn't been an intersection, because that's going to create problems. They're going to turn around in the middle of that, even though you would think that they would know better than to do that. Oh, I probably should have done that on this side. There we go. And let's actually align that. So, for example, if this commercial stuff wanted to expand, it'll expand into the other commercial zones. But like when you have things that are not copacetic, they don't meld.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got some traffic that's already starting to, you know, use our tunnel here. What are these empty moving trucks? That's good. We would like a lot of those. We want people to come in and then, you know, have the moving trucks leave. We don't want them to leave with the moving trucks.
I feel like this is like the 1950s where everyone's like moving westward.
Or into Levittown.
That too.
I mean, this could be Levittown. Look at that house. The Welshes live there. Howdy, Welshes. Your cars are kind of terrible. Station wagons from the 1950s. So, let's see here. So we've got a water issue. We have used all the water that's available pretty much, and now we have to just suck it up and build our own real water plant, which we don't want to have directly adjacent to our high wealth area here. We don't want to have, well, this is probably going to be the best place right here, actually. This area, because we're not going to have any industrial upwind of it. So I'm just going to extend this a little bit to make room for the water plant. And we want to have it in the deepest blue area possible because it'll start depleting the water table, which is, generally undesirable.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have 104 kilogallons per hour of excess capacity, which should be more than enough for anybody. How are we doing on sewage? Ooh, we are running a deficit. So we're going to have to start pumping sewage out somewhere. I'm personally inclined to just dump that way at the outer edge of the map over here. Whoops. That's not going to let me make a road. Let's see. Go ahead and stretch this out to here. And then run this down to here. And then we can just set up our excess sewage. This is untreated sewage at this point, but it's going to be, as far downwind as we can get it from everything.
Yeah.
We're going to want to leave room to put the actual real sewage treatment plant on this side because we need room for it to expand.
Yeah.
But for right now, we can just set a bunch of these little ones in here as we need to grow. So we got 4 kilogallons an hour of excess. That's fine. Now we have 37 hours to become profitable, essentially, because we're losing. So maybe that'll be the theme of this episode, the 3 bondsmen. We need to not have our kneecaps bashed in by the guys that we borrowed money from.
Yeah.
Because they are banks, and banks tend to have a lot of money to hire people to bash kneecaps with.
Because that's how they do things.
That is how they do things. You might need to look more toward the microphone and project.
Oh, sorry.
But that's how they bank. Bomb, bomb. So luckily our tax revenue is increasing, so we're already at negative 846 an hour. So we've already bought ourselves like an extra 8 hours right there. Hopefully it will not come to that, but let's go ahead and speed things up a little bit so we can see how much natural expansion there's going to be just over the next little bit. Okay, we're sending some of our excess sewage to Biftopia. That makes sense. Yeah, we're still doing okay on that. How are we on power? We're doing okay on power because, once again, we built our own coal plant. So let's check on our trade depot. Don't have anything crazy going on there. We've got raw ore being produced over here, and we've got raw coal being produced over here.
Yay.
Yay, and our sewage thing is... Apparently our sewage is backed up.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed. Luckily, our taxes were down to negative 308 an hour in terms of deficit. Once we start selling ore, we're going to be way better off, but we might even want to, since we're kind of getting close to beating our deficit, we might even want to invest in an additional derrick here.
Okay.
And so this will put out a lot of extra capacity. So what we'll do is then, like, I'm not going to place it right now because I don't want to waste all our money, but we can essentially shape these like an L into the this whole vein here.
Gotcha.
And just mine it all out. So hopefully this thing will start producing ore more quickly, and then we can start exporting it more quickly, which we do have set there. So we'll get $5,000 every time a truck drives this off the end of the map, which is a good amount of money to get from that sort of thing. So let's see. Our sewage seems to have worked itself out. Sometimes it takes a while to catch up, like realizing that like Biffa City has extra ore.
Yeah.
So negative 97 an hour on our budget.
That's drastically improving.
Yeah, well, like we set up all these zones. We just needed to give people a chance to move in. So I think what we need to do now is
build more parks.
Yeah, build more parks to get people to expand their density. Now, areas that are yellow are already more likely to increase in density. So we want to put our parks, and actually we have one of them already right there. That's one of the reasons that these people are more likely to expand. So we can come over here and then essentially extend this park by adding little modules to it, like a swing playground, because everybody likes swinging, you know, and dancing as well. And we can add a little other playground here. Now that's of course going to cost us $10 an hour for each of those modules, but we're at negative 58, so I feel like we can afford it. And so we can put, that's not going to make it. We can't fit any of the bigger ones in over here. But, you know, we can put another one over here. And if I come out here and hit the little happiness map, or the happiness thing, oh, that's not working. Happiness. So you see all these people are really happy.
Yeah.
And that's good, because the happier they are, the more likely they are to expand. So we need 5,000 people here to really get the game started. So setting up setting up some cross streets here might not be out of order. Let's go ahead and come in here, keeping of course an eye on our ore map. This would probably be the next viable place. Hey, we're profitable.
Yay.
That's always nice. I love not being, you know, decrepitly poor. Yep. So let's see. We want to make sure we move back as far as the density stuff there. Now, if you look at our demand map here, blue is down. So we're going to go ahead and actually set up a 3-to-1 ratio of residential to commercial here. And we can even now go ahead and, because highways don't have any continuous expense associated with them, I don't have to worry about like going into the red because I built too many highways the way I would with parks. Like if I built a whole bunch of parks, then I could end up in some real trouble.
Because that's completely realistic.
Well, because parks cost money to maintain. Oh, you're saying highways in real life cost money to maintain?
Yes. Probably more so than parks.
Yes, and I think it's awesome that I can make all the highways I want in here, so too bad.
Hey, it wasn't saying it was a bad thing.
Yeah, but it's more fun for me to be able to make all the roads. So I'm making, oh dang it, I made too many commercials. Oh, so anyway, we're just gonna let these folks start settling in and increasing our population. Now, if we wanted to, we could build a bunch of smaller roads that we'd have to demolish later and just have... Because the problem is the trailer homes, you'll notice, don't really use the whole lot here. They don't go back very far. So what some people do is they'll build another cross street, like here, and then they'll build a whole second tier of trailer homes. But the problem is then you have to delete everything if you wanted to. You have to delete that road once people start getting ready to expand.
Yeah. And
it's really inconvenient because if you, like, we're already at a point where these people here are getting ready
to build actual houses.
Yeah, and so we don't want to do anything inconvenient to them. So let's see. We are sitting on some money. We are not running out of sewage anytime soon. Yeah, maybe we are. It's not an ideal situation over here in the sewage. All of our bonds, we owe still about $300,000 because we're not making money to pay that off very quickly. Although we have accumulated 10 tons of coal, which means that we won't have to worry about running out for a power plant at least. And we have sold 2 blocks of, or 2 truckloads of raw ore, so we've made $10,000 there. So if we let the game run at this point, we'll essentially start running into issues with crime and crime and fires and things like that, because we don't have a police station.
Yeah.
We don't really have anything infrastructure-wise other than a bunch of homes.
Right.
Which can only get you so far. Now, the problem is building a fire station, you got a residual cost of $400 an hour. With $670 an hour profit, it's kind of dicey.
Yeah.
Same for the police station. So what we want to do is we want to hold out as long as we can before crime starts being a real problem. Let's see. what roads have we not zoned to the max, essentially. We want to go back in and just zone everything we possibly can for optimalization. So, just kind of... So let's see, these roads down here have all been zoned. Oh, we haven't zoned anything right here yet. Now this is one of those things, like, I don't know if we want to keep this area saved for putting special stuff here later. Like, for example, if we build a stadium.
Yeah.
Actually, what we probably want to do with the stadium is just put it right in here. So that way people only have to turn right to get into it.
Yeah.
Because any sort of, like, big
left-hand turn, yeah. Stuff things, yeah.
Yeah, but for right now, we can go ahead and build residential all through there. It won't be very dense, but none of it is. Okay, so in the meantime, you see this little symbol popping up. A lot of places, businesses or whatever, just don't have enough people living there. So we're just going to set up a block of residential there, block of residential there. Whoops. Water pumping facility, that'll keep rent down anyway. And we're up to 3,200 population already, you know, which is not bad, considering that we have a pretty weird layout for stuff. Now, down the line, if we wanted to, for example, add plains for some reason.
Yeah.
We could, we'd want to have like a big area of reserve. Now, plains are great for tourism and freight, but we already have a rail line, which is better for freight than planes, and we're probably not going to be attracting too many tourists with our coal mine and ore mine.
No.
So I don't know. I'm not too worried about that. So let's see here. So 27 tons a day. That's not bad, but that's not like, you know, tons of. I guess that is tons of ore, but it's not tons of ore in the sense that we'd like. So let's go ahead and set up. We're actually already starting to fill the coal here. Now the way to do this, now unfortunately with this one depot, we can either set it aside for local use or for export. So if we want to have a second depot that's just exporting coal, we'd have to build that. Is that the baby?
Yep.
Okay. Baby time skip. Now that the baby is all taken care of, we are back. I have added some zones to exist in roadways that were missing them before, and otherwise I have not really adjusted the map at all. I was telling Marion that, oh, wait, look at this. Government thing is pulsating.
What?
We can upgrade our town hall. Oh no, it's being attacked by terrorists. How explosive. Or at least incendiary. So anyway, now that we got our town hall here, we can actually go ahead and add one thing to it. We can add either Department of Finance, Department of Safety, Department of Tourism, Transportation, Utilities, or a helipad, which we can't do. Now, the thing is, though, each of these departments gives everybody in the region the benefit that they provide. Like, for example, somebody else built a Department of Finance, which is why we could take out those crazy loans.
Yeah.
Now, if I go through here, somebody else looks like they have built the departments of, like, safety, utilities, all that. So it looks like, actually, maybe tourism might be one that has not... Yeah, see, nobody has built a Department of Tourism in our region, but we're not going to be a tourist city anyway.
No.
So I'm not too concerned about that. But let me just review the others, yeah. Finance lets us take out bigger loans. Safety lets us build a bigger police station, which somebody else built. Tourism lets you build tourist stuff. Transportation lets you build bus terminals. Can we build the fancy bus terminals? I didn't check that, actually. Streetcars. Yeah, we can build all the fancy stuff here. So yeah, we have no use for any of that. Okay, cool. That's always nice. So I'm thinking that if we were to build a big bus terminal or anything like that, for example, we probably want to put it at the end of this tunnel here to split the traffic, so that, you know, the people coming through here,
Yeah.
well, which I hate having a powerful left coming right out of the gate. But, you know, it'll at least pull the buses that way. We're up to 1,700 up an hour, not including our raw ore sales, which we have now made $20,000 off of, essentially.
Hey, we're not doing too bad on bonds.
No, sorry, go on.
Well, like, it was astronomical, and now it's, you know, manageable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still a third, or no, about more than half of our expenses are bonds.
Yeah.
We're spending $2,000 every month on bonds, or every hour, sorry, and, you know, 468 on power. So, yeah. Okay, oh, so there's apparently a fire somewhere, and somebody else's firemen are here to help. So let's go see where the fire is. Apparently the fire is right here. And, well, we know that there's a fire. So, essentially, early on, other people's cities will help us if we don't have certain infrastructure in place. But down the line, there will be, you know, so especially as, like, industrial as we are, there will be big fires.
Yeah.
There will be fires that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Also, if, for example, if the highway gets backed up, we can't depend on Doc M to send his highway firemen.
Right.
In a reasonable amount of time. We need our fire station to come from, like,
Within
a
the
low
city.
traffic area of town.
Yeah.
Is that the baby again?
Yep.
Baby time skip. It's not that she's overstimulated, it's that she's newly stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going to keep waking up, and she's going to keep needing stuff, and we're just going to have to, you know, let her know it's okay. So anyway, we are back, and so one thing that happened while you were gone is this house over here caught fire,
Did
I think.
other things catch fire?
No, just the one. I paused it while you were gone because I figured we shouldn't have everything be on fire. Yep. This one is on fire.
Hear the fire alarm.
I figure we shouldn't have everything on fire while you're gone. We should solve this together as a team. Now, looking at our budget here, we can not quite afford the large fire station.
Yeah.
We can afford the cheap fire station. So maybe we should... also, we're running out of sewage. We have 0.1 kilogallon an hour of excess, which means we really need to drop this in, get the good one going. Now, what I'm thinking is...
Maybe we just get the
we
fire station and the expensive sewage station.
Yeah, because like the sewage thing is going to be a problem in the long term.
Yeah.
Now, in looking at where to place this fire station, now the industrial stuff here is a way higher risk than everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it benefits, it increases the property value of homes that it's near.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is our high property value area here. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we put the fire station somewhere along here or even here, because from here it can go down, it can go through the different tunnels, like it can access this tunnel to get to that one. I don't know. So I don't know if you have any strong feelings one way or the other about where to put it, but
wait, zoom out again.
this is as far as it zooms.
Oh,
I can
right.
kind of pan so you can see
Yeah,
more.
pan. Yeah, probably at that branch point somewhere over there, just so like it's kind of a good halfway point.
Yeah, and we want it far enough away from the entrance that it won't be dealing with the traffic from that.
Right.
So I'm thinking right here is good. Also, right here is not a zonable area, I don't think.
Oh.
Oh, it is. Well, whatever. That's dumb.
People can actually build
I didn't
houses
really
there?
think I could zone off of that. That's so terrible looking.
Yeah, the software is lacking.
So anyway, well, let's go ahead and add 4 residential there and then put this guy right here, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm trying to imagine this game in Reboot.
Oh, you mean like Reboot the television show?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. There's a way. Let me go over here to options real quick. Settings, graphics, filter. What does this do? Platinum. Oh, no, that's just too depressing. That's all dull and dark.
It looks Yeah.
That's not at all like Reboot. Reboot is so bright and colorful. Let's try Vibrant. And it's nighttime, so we can't see it anyway. Okay, so we'll leave that on, though, while it has night happening. Let's go ahead and get our sewage system set up, though. Actually, we might want to set up a cross street here just to... Okay, and now if we set up our sewage thing here... And, oh no, I spent all our money on the road, so we can't build it now. Okay, so we're going to have to unpause and wait for us to accumulate enough money to finish the sewage system. Now, in fairness, though, to me, our little raw ore trucks are, delivering that away. Actually, I'm going to switch the coal into export mode because right now we have more of it than we need for our power plant. So... There we go. And so we should hit 66,000 quickly. Attractive new homes for sale in the city. See your local real estate agent. That means that some of these homes are starting to expand and not be like completely terrible.
Like trailer.
Yeah. We don't use the term trailer trash. We use the term trailer transformable into a recyclable, brighter future.
Okay. Excuse my ignorance.
Okay, do you guys have trailer parks in Texas actually?
Yeah.
Okay, because we have them in Tullahoma too, but like, just because
there are varying degrees of trailer parks.
Well, it's one of those things like just because somebody lives in one, like you can't assume anything about them. You might be able to assume something about their parents or about their grandparents, but like, there's a certain amount of...
No, there are trailer parks, and then there are trailer parks.
Well, see, I hate that. I hate that. Like, there is X, and then there's X. Like, I don't like that word game thing. I it's one of those things where, housing is housing, and some housing is better than others, but...
I mean,
I don't know. I'd be very wary of judging people based on the fact that they
honestly,
live
it's not really. I mean, if you live in a trailer park, that doesn't say anything about you, but it's kind of how you.
There are certain stereotypes associated with trailer parks, but that's not necessarily how the people that live in them act. You know,
it's just like
so we have enough money to build this thing now. If you're done making fun of people who live in trailers. Because their lives aren't hard enough already. I'm sorry. I'm just...
Yeah,
I don't know.
A hard time.
I'm giving you a hard time. That's going to be a recurring theme here, is giving Marion a hard time. So let's see. It's 2 a.m. in-game. We can see... Oh, look. You can see Biffa's little town. There's his little, four-leaf clover loops. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then there's Dockford. Or is that... No. That's Chusetra's old city. This is Dockford over here.
Whoa.
Which has the big...
behemoths in the building.
Yep. Obsolete outflow pipe. So now we can actually turn... Now that we got a good processing plant that's actually running at full capacity, we can turn off our old thing that was literally just dumping sewage into the street.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll leave that there. We're not going to bulldoze it because we might need it later. Is the baby starting to wake up?
No, I'm going to put her in her bouncer seat and just put her right here.
Yeah, that sounds like a solid plan. The baby loves her little bouncer seat. And we love the baby, so all around everyone's happy. Wow, there's a rubble I should bulldoze. Oh, that's that building that caught fire earlier. Goodbye, building from earlier. We forgive you for your death. Okay, so we got... Oh no, 3 deaths per day from injury and sickness. Now, the hospital is insanely more efficient than the clinic. So... if we could hold off long enough to build a hospital, I would think that would be the sound idea. Wow, that's a very interesting way to carry a baby. Okay, I have every confidence in you, but I'm not sure that I like the theory behind this. Okay, okay, yeah, that looks remarkably safe considering the steps that it took to get there. Okay, so, meanwhile, unbeknownst to Speed, the mysterious SimCity was continuing to be played by Joe and Marion. Okay, so these are the vibrant colors.
I guess that doesn't look like anything like. Yeah.
Reboot. No, that's not vibrant enough for you.
Well, I was actually more wondering about like how the characters would like interact with this, because it's not like they're like, competing for.
Well,
I guess they try to sabotage.
What do you mean?
Well, like how they try to beat the game. Like, I guess what would the end game be?
Okay. So what you're saying is, if this game came down upon mainframe, how would the Guardians attempt to thwart the user?
Yeah.
Well, the thing about SimCity is it's a sandbox game, so there's not a clear game over, user wins scenario.
Yeah.
It's more like a game over, game just ended because the user went to go eat, or his wife needed him to do laundry or something. Not that that's drawing from life in any way. But like essentially it's like Minecraft. There's not really a game over thing.
Right.
It just goes on. Although if you really wanted to mess with people, like they could run around being arsonists, setting fire to things.
Well, I was just thinking of like how would they make you run out of money? Because like I know there are lots of ways to do that, but it seems like if there's any way to beat the user, it would be...
The way to beat the user in SimCity, if you are a guardian from the net, is to jam the traffic so none of the user's things can get anywhere. Like all that ore we're selling for extra money, it actually has to leave the map by a truck and go off the screen here. That would be how you do it. You just engineer traffic jams nonstop. It stops the ambulances and the fire trucks from getting where they need to go as well. It's very effective.
A clever guy.
Yeah. This is a weird little hill that sprouted up here.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, I should zone more of this clearly. Oh wow, that's just solving all sorts of problems or making them uglier. Probably the latter. Now, if we wanted to expand our fire station or later, will it actually let us put in more? Okay, yeah, we actually could put in more trucks here and on the other side. Usually it's good to set one fire, if you're going to add fire truck garages, you want to add them on the opposite side of the street so they, you see this median here?
Yeah.
So that way the other truck doesn't have to deal with the median, depending on where the fire
so you can
is.
Dispatch them, yeah.
You can dispatch more quickly, yes. Okay, so building density map, we got a bunch of people that are in the green. We've got a 5,400 population. We're making good money. I think that what we want to do at this point is work toward building the metals HQ, which we need to mine 96 tons of either ore or coal in 1 hour. Or not 1 hour, one in-game day. So to do that, what we're going to need to do is place more of these derricks, but we got enough of them, that we can easily do that.
We hardly made a dent in...
Oh yeah, this is this game is designed to take a long time to play. Like these elements will deplete, but they will not deplete immediately. They're not deplemediate. Anyway, so in the meantime, we probably want to add more delivery trucks to our coal depot and our ore depot as well, just because those are things that are going to be an issue. So that way, because the trucks have to actually go off the map with whatever they're carrying for us to get the money.
Yeah.
We want to have enough trucks that they can be continuously carting stuff off, because we just essentially doubled our coal mine's output.
Yay.
Apparently it's at 48 tons a day, which is not enough to get the metals HQ. We need 96 tons a day, so we might even have to build build another coal mine or ore mine. So anyway, this is vaguely like what we discussed in our cake video in episode 1.
Vaguely.
I mean, you would have recognized this if you had seen the cake. It's kind of there. Kind of. At this point, we kind of just need to let the game run for a little while so we can accumulate money and hope that our city doesn't self-implode due to traffic, crime, fires, or illness in the meantime. There's all sorts of weird little graphical glitches with like the roads when you zoom out where they're like covered in mud.
Yeah.
It's kind of like... It's hard to make a game this complex.
Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. And
definitely.
some of the choices that they made in the process of doing so are a little weird. I'll be honest, but it's a fun game. I have a lot of fun playing this. I don't know what thoughts do you have so far on this?
I mean, I think.
Okay, so it seems like thought one is Joe should ask more specific questions.
No, I mean, I was gonna say, like, I think they should work the roads out a little better, because, I mean, if there's anything that should work relatively flawlessly, it should be the roads, because that's how you lay out the entire grid system. And obviously, like, we had a lot of trouble laying out our city just based on
really,
the
I
roads.
couldn't tell based on the fact that we've got this weird like we got this @ symbol thing going on here.
Yeah.
It just stretches out into ad infinitum.
Yeah. I mean, everything else seems like it's, I mean, there's some quirks to it, but it, works as best as you would think it would for a simulation, because this is really complex, but the roads are just, they're lacking. So I don't know, I mean, maybe we'd find more obvious problems once we get going.
Well, we're not necessarily playing the game to look for problems. We're playing the game to have fun.
Yeah, and it's definitely fun.
I mean, I've been playing SimCity since I had a monochrome monitor. Like, I literally played the original SimCity in black and white. And
yeah, I remember playing SimCity when I was in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. It's a 25-year-old game. It is a game with a storied history. So that little park I added there was just enough to push these folks over the edge in terms of density.
Yay.
And so now we've got them building little apartment buildings here, which will allow us to get better stuff. Shopping indecision increases as larger shops open around the city.
Woohoo.
And what's wrong with our mining? Oh, storage is full. Not at that mine. Which mine has full storage? Okay, so what we need to do is add delivery trucks to our actual mines as well, so they can get the... Because we added all these derricks, and we didn't add any additional delivery trucks, which would have been a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough money to add more than one, so...
Well, let's hope one will...
Well, we literally doubled it. We went from 1 to 2, so... now, luckily, the traffic here isn't very encumbered between them and the depot. And our depot can handle 40 tons of raw ore. Now, once we get our metals HQ going and we get some... we'll be able to essentially start smelting the ore and the coal together into making alloys, which we can then sell for a ton of money.
Yeah.
So... right now, we're just kind of... This is baby steps with Joe Hills and Marion. Storage full. A mine is at capacity. Dang it. Closed full storage. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Okay, so as soon as we can afford to add another delivery truck there, we just need to get them out of full capacity mode. Okay, so it's leave them some more. 222. Our metals HQ, the best it's done is 77 out of 96. So what we're probably going to want to actually do is build a second ore mine, probably here.
Yeah.
Once we get the money, and start running the derricks back along that little pike there. And we want to leave our grid as open as possible, so like down the line. I was looking at it, and somebody else built a Department of Education already. And so what that means is that we could build a university, which would then let us build a processor plant where we could use alloys and plastics together to make processors and TVs and all sorts of fancy...
So it'd be like a chemical engineering university.
Well, you know how I said like the alloys sell for like $48,000?
Yeah.
Well, processors sell for like $100,000.
I would imagine so.
So, like, per ton.
Yeah.
A ton of processors is a lot of processors. Is that the baby? Sometimes she has dreams. That's good. We want her to have dreams. What? We do.
No, I think
a man's reach should extend past his grasp or something. Maybe the opposite.
No, I was
but it's important.
going to say that I think she wakes up because she doesn't hear our voices.
Oh, you think she's stressed out that she's like, where are they?
Yeah.
But we're talking now. And she's still waking up, and she's still talking.
No, she's talking in her sleep. She's not actually awake.
Well, I know she's not actually awake, but she's still talking, and she can hear our voices.
Yeah, but she's incorporating it into her dreams. Kind of like how you, like, you know, if you hear the radio and you, like, have these bizarre dreams about what they're talking on the radio, and then eventually you wake up and you're like, oh, I was dreaming about what they were talking about.
Marion has had a habit recently of waking me up and handing me the baby so she can do other things. So rather than this radio scenario, which she has imagined from the Aether itself, you know, I'll wake up and I'll be holding this baby, and I'll be like, I should zone more laundry so that we have clothes for the baby, and then I should add a fire station in case there's a fire somewhere. And it's really bad.
Yeah, because I'm not too far off from the same state of mind because I've been up for like 6 hours.
Oh no, being awake for 6 hours. Now when she says, oh, I've been awake for 6 hours, but I've barely slept for 2 months, or a month and a half at this point, I guess.
I have not had a consecutive, or more than 3.5 consecutive hours of sleep since January 29th.
Woo!
Yeah. And no coffee.
Yeah, she can't have caffeine because of the baby. Okay, so we have 16 people dying a day in our city.
Oh, awesome.
Now, a lot of that is due to injuries and sickness. But, you know, just to be fair, Baltimore has a murder rate of essentially 300 a year. And we have 16 people dying a day.
So let me guess. That's like 4,000 deaths.
We have a lot of people dying. We should probably build a clinic.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and open up our little medical health map and figure out where the people are getting sick and what kind of problems they're having. I'm kind of inclined to put the clinic near our other fancy stuff that we were working on. Just kind of...
Is the red the sickness? Or?
Red is low income stuff.
Oh.
This is the income map right now.
Okay.
We want to use our clinic to increase the wealth of the city writ large.
Right. That corner might be good.
This corner, yeah.
And
see, boom, that just added wealth everywhere up in here.
Yep, that's what hospitals do.
All up in that mug, yep. So now all these other people here are going to want to start expanding, and they'll be happy. Oh, we never built a trash dump.
Oh.
So remember how we made this road over here, and you were
Yeah.
like, well, why would you waste all your money on that road? So we could fill it with trash. Not a recycling center, because we can't afford it yet. But, yeah, we're just going to build a garbage dump here.
I would hate to be that house.
Well, I mean, that guy made a mistake by living somewhere...
Out in the boonies?
Yeah, like he's living in the middle. He's already living near a sewage plant that
True.
that literally is an outflow pipe. It pumps sewage into the creek. At the point where you're living next to a pipe full of sewage next to a creek, you know, too bad. You're gonna get a dump behind you. I don't know. I mean, the pipe is technically taking the dump to you, but. I mean, you know, we're just going to take it one step further because you can never take things too far. Okay, so 16 deaths per day, but we built our clinic. So let's see how our clinic is doing. Oh, we're paused actually right now. So we're going to unpause. And if I switch to clinic view, yes, pause, unpause, everyone's favorite LPer. We can see our little ambulance here is rushing to this house where somebody's been injured. And hopefully we'll now rush back to this clinic. Oh, what a good ambulance. So now we have 1 injured sim in a patient room. Now the clinic has 10 patient rooms and 10 waiting room, or 10 chairs in the waiting room. So
triage.
Yeah, triage. I don't think it actually triages. I think people just die in the waiting room.
Oh, good. Does the hospital have a triage?
No, but it has more rooms, so people usually don't have to wait.
How unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of... Well, here's the thing about making a game like this, is essentially you make the overall simulation, and then you release an expansion pack called, like, Medical Center, Health Land, Happy. Yeah, baby likes it. Is she actually waking up this time, or is that a dream? No, that's just a dream, surprisingly. She gets really loud and she's just still asleep.
Yeah, she's very vocal during her dreams. It's kind of disturbing.
I think she takes after her mother, who is renowned for as being a massive loudmouth. No one in our family is louder than Marion.
No comment.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, none. Okay. So let's see.
Punch.
Oh yeah. We got this trash problem we've been kind of ignoring. So hopefully this guy, so he's running around picking up all the trash and taking it back, and we're good there. So at this point we have a basically functioning city, and I think it's probably a good point to call this an episode, because I think we've actually been at this for about an hour.
Yeah.
And obviously some of that was you going to get the baby or put the baby down or other baby related things, but I mean, we're doing pretty good. We're more than breaking even. We're slowly paying off our bonds, and we've got some of our areas starting to expand into higher density, like the Shadow Brick Studios, who have great places to shop at, and Robinson Collections. They only collect the teeth of dead people, so it's not creepy.
Wait, what? Really?
No. They just collect teeth. No, they don't collect teeth. I'm just messing with you.
You're going to sleep on the couch tonight.
No, I don't. Okay, so let's see. People are mad about the garbage everywhere, but we're already cleaning that up. People are mad about all the dead people from the clinic, but patients being treated 10. So we've actually already hit capacity on that. The problem is it's so expensive to expand that thing. It would drive us into the red. So hopefully people will get healthier. Because
be healthier. You need to build more schools.
Remember,
apparently, more schools means healthier people.
Well, more schools also means less crime.
True.
So yeah, we actually do need to build schools. So in our next episode, we will go on a scholastic adventure of school construction, or a constructive adventure of scholastic construction.
Yes.
Or something.
That, exactly.
One of those things will happen. I'm just amazed that we have an entrance to the city that isn't clogged all the time. That alone is a huge, huge thing.
That, or it says something about the eventual doom of our city.
Yeah, our city is dead as soon as we hit 100,000 people, because this is just going to be blocked halfway. There's going to be all these people all the way through this mountain here, and I don't know if you noticed, but this tunnel doesn't have any of those things that vent CO2 and bring in oxygen.
Yeah.
So there will just be 10,000 people dead in their cars from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Maxis, for developing an accurate simulation. And anyway, until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee, joined by Marion Hills, also from Nashville, Tennessee. Any final words, Marion?
Peace, y'all.
Reboot! I was hoping the baby would yell something. I mean, I know she's asleep, but come on, where's her sense of timing? Keep adventuring.